What's up, members of the Peter Griffin household? I'm your host, Troublesome Junction, back at it again with another video. I'm recording this video immediately after recording my top 10 best Diesel 10 merchandise out there, but this video won't be uploaded until maybe a couple days later just to kind of space them out. I felt like making this video to kind of contrast the other one was kind of a much needed thing to do, because you can't just label the best but then not talk about, you know, the pieces of horse shit that are out there. If you're going to like this video and you want to see more content about this, not even just Thomas related content, consider subscribing. It's free. You can always unsubscribe. I'm Troublesome Junction, and I'm bringing you the top 5 worst Diesel 10 items out there. We are already on to a controversial start. So you're probably saying, how dare I criticize the almighty Big PP Energy ERTL company? And I'm going to tell you why this guy sucks. ERTL Diesel 10 is not a good model in the slightest. It does have some charm to it, don't get me wrong, but it's very clear to tell that their heart was not in trying when it came to making this guy. For one, this guy is pretty much just a repaint of the existing D199 ERTL model. They didn't even bother to give him the different amount of wheels, so he's still sitting here packing that good old fucking 16 wheel charm. Totally not the 8 wheel design that, you know, kind of sort of is canon, but whatever. So we're already off to a very rough start with the fact that this is just a cheap repaint. They did give him a different face that is molded onto the body. I think that this face right here, it gets the job done, but there is so much better out there. I think one of the biggest problems I have with this thing is Pinchy. Pinchy looks like a fucking block of sand slapped on top of him. This bitch looked like they just slapped a tan music note on top of him. Really just took one of those McDonald's Happy Meal containers and said, fuck it, give it a pull and put it on there. This Pinchy is hands down one of the worst Pinchies in Thomas and Friends history. It is not good in the slightest, and it is hardly even to say accurate. Yeah, it has the shape, but that's really it. That is why I believe that this guy deserves this spot on the list. And let me tell you now, this video only gets more controversial as we go down. So, without further ado, let's move on to number 4. This right here is the early Wooden Railway CGI Diesel 10. This design was fucking atrocious. The color scheme was insanely weird. It had this lime green, kind of yellowish texture to it. It looked like a fucking highlighter. It had the weird looking face that was just no on so many levels. And the body shape makes him look like a fucking log. Now you're probably going to criticize me and say, oh, well, I glorify the Brio Diesel 10 design. The difference with that is that it still has that appeal to look at, and there's really nothing like it to compare it to. Whereas with the Diesel 10 here, it has way too many similarities to these two. The CGI Diesel 10 later release, and then of course the early learning curve Diesel 10. These guys are basically the exact same model, but with different shapes and slightly different faces. This guy right here deserves to be on this list, and I think we can all agree on that. He's just not a good looking model in the slightest. I've also seen a lot of images of this guy very close up, and let me tell you now, the corners of it and everything just looks so gritty and rough and stupid on it. It really just feels like they just kind of wanted to shoehorn a Diesel 10 out rather than actually try. But then they went around and said, "Oh yeah, that was just a quick fix right here. Here's a far better Diesel 10 you guys can have." I just think there's too much wrong with this Diesel 10 to glorify it at all, and I think that that is the reason why it deserves the number 4 spot on this list. Go ahead, unsubscribe. I have to say it, the Tomy Diesel 10 is on this list. And oh boy, I know this is gonna get a lot of backlash.
I hate you! I hate you!
And before you go into the comments and say the fact that I do have a bias toward the fact that I don't really like Tomy all that much, I do think that there are great Tomy models out there. You have Gordon, Henry, Murdoch, James. All of those guys I think are really good Tomy models, and a lot of other ones. But I just feel that this Diesel 10 right here is severely lacking where it could be better. First things first, his face is just way too big and way too creepy looking. Those cold, sunken in eyes, I just don't think that the design works as well for the Tomy engines, who are known for being shorter and flatter. I think that the face could use a slight redesign here. It does capture all of the side detail here, even a little bit of the doors with the hand railing and stuff, but I just feel that this guy is too compact and short. You know what I'm saying? He's not really that intimidating. He just looks like a fucking bread roll. And we fucking the baguette.
Ah, that's good old-fashioned family racism.
If you couldn't tell, I'm very sleep deprived right now. That's Mama Luigi to you, damn it. I think for me, one of the biggest reasons why I don't like this guy is Pinchy himself. You ready for the movement on this guy? Are you having fun yet? So yes, this guy literally just has the ability to open and close. And Pinchy himself looks insanely squashed. He literally looks like the chicken nugget box from McDonald's. I just don't think Pinchy looks good on this guy. Why couldn't they have at least given him the ability to move up and down? Now, before you go in the comments and talk about, oh, but there's the talking Diesel 10, the one Japanese one that makes the funny Diesel Tenda noise. I do think that the talking Diesel 10 is kind of funny because of the exaggerated, like, Japanese voice it has. Pinchy still doesn't look that good even on that guy. The shape of the guy and the face of the guy, it gets the job done, but I just can't really see this as being that good or interesting of a model. I get you gotta make this guy fit under tunnels and bridges and crazy stuff like that, but so do the other ranges, and they did it just fine. I think this guy is an okay model, but there's a lot of room for improvement, and it's just not one that I typically gravitate towards out of the entirety of my Diesel 10 collection. Hence why it is knocked just a bit below the other ones. But yeah, very controversial take, I know, but oh boy, you're in for a ride with the other ones. Let's get into them now. What the hell is this? Someone seriously sat at a computer and made this fucking monstrosity. This bitch looked like the fucking Pizza Hut logo. No one can out Pizza the Hut, but I think a lot of things can out Diesel 10 this thing. This thing's a fucking abomination from hell. I'm sorry, but there's so many better ways they could have handled making this. I get this line's supposed to be like a more kid-friendly, I guess, version of Trackmaster, but this is just fucking awful. The wheels are a very weird color. It's insanely tall. It has an insanely squashed look, so it looks like a shitty rectangle. Pinchy. Oh my god, Pinchy. They pretty much just took the articulation from the take along and take and play guys and said, yeah, that's good enough. Pinchy on this thing is way too small. I know that we've had a lot of issues with Diesel 10 claws being too big, but this is way too small. In the same vein that the Diesel 10 claw on the Tomy model is insanely squashed and weird looking, this is just a million times worse. If you're gonna make a big and chunky Diesel 10, at least give us a big and chunky Pinchy. If this thing had better articulation or a better sculpt for Pinchy, I might have given it a pass. But this thing is a fucking abomination, and no one can change my mind on that shit. Not to mention, this face just looks like so... It's just so hard to put into words of how bad this is, because this fucker speaks for himself. This motherfucker gets no bitches. No bitches whatsoever. You, good sir, get 0 bitches out of 10. Fucking Megamind. Did I seriously just make a fucking Megamind meme out of this video? Whatever, who cares? So we have been through all of the Diesel 10s. Will this last one be controversial, or will it be rightly justified? There's only one way to find out. We're now here, the final frontier. What is the single-handedly worst piece of Diesel 10 merchandise there is out there? You ready for this? It's this bitch. Are you really that surprised? I'm gonna be honest, I have a lot of quarrels with the Thomas Mini line as a whole, but this right here, the fucking brand hybrid shit is the definition of just fucking stop it. Just stop it. I remember when this thing first came out and they were making the weird comics book videos and they had Millie be Harley Quinn and Diesel 10 be Joker. I think that's a fitting choice in terms of if you're gonna choose a character to be Joker, Diesel 10 would definitely be Joker. But do we really need this thing? Like, goddamn. What do you get when you cross a marketable Thomas line with a fucking DC line? You get a society that has this fucking abomination. Joker movie was fucking amazing. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. This thing right here haunts my fucking dreams. I wake up and fucking shit myself knowing that this son of a bitch exists. Someone sat down at Mattel and said, the funny Thomas choo-choo train brand with the funny little miniature trains that are overly stylized anyways. Yeah, mix that shit with DC. You know, those things go together anyways. Honestly, I just don't understand why they did so many like cross-promotion deals with Thomas Minis. I get that they're supposed to be these over-stylized characters, but why DC of all things? And then they also did like SpongeBob, and then they did like, I think they did a couple other ones too, and it's like, why? This is just, stop it. There's also fucking, no, if there is an honorable mention, it go to this fucking bitch. This fucking minion single-eyed bastard over here. They were so lazy with this guy too that they didn't even bother to change the face sculpt. You just have this single eye with indented marks of where Diesel 10's face should be. I'm sorry, but this thing right here is gonna give me a fucking aneurysm. I hate it on so many fucking levels. I honestly would say that this really isn't a controversial opinion. Thomas Mini Line has definitely given us some gold nuggets, don't get me wrong, but this right here I feel was the lowest point in Thomas and Friends merchandise as a whole. It's definitely up there with one of the worst decisions that Mattel has made. And as we all know, Mattel is pretty good at making those. I just cannot get behind this as a whole. I love Joker as a character. Joker is a fucking amazing DC character. I mean, he's not Bane, but like, shit, he's pretty cool. And of course, it goes without saying that Diesel 10 is one of my favorite Thomas and Friends characters there is. All right, Twinkle Toes, I'm gonna say the N-word and you can't stop me. Hello, Twinkle Toes. I've been to the insane asylum. I need to fucking stop. So that brings us to the end of our video here. Thank you all so much for watching this. And if you haven't seen the first video, what the fuck are you doing here? Go watch it. And if you've watched both of those videos, I'd highly recommend checking out some of my other content. If you like the kind of weird commentary and the humor that I bring to these kinds of videos, I really do think you can get a kick out of these videos, even if you're not a fan of the property in the designated videos. Go give me them YouTube views, damn it, I need the ad revenue. So that's all I gotta say for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm gonna go get some sleep before fucking class starts for college. I'll see you guys on the flip side.